Well, we are at the AI summit here in New Delhi. On the sidelines, there are delegations that have come in from more than 70 countries, and one among them is, of course, the United States. There are several people who have come in from the government, but privately as well. People who have been, working in the arena of artificial intelligence. Recently, we've had the announcement of the India-US trade deal. The interim agreement has been made. A lot of progress being made between DC and New Delhi. And to talk more about the new strides that we are making in AI, we have Krystle Kaul joining us, who ran for Congress and also is the former, senior advisor, chief digital AI office, which covers the entire Department of War in the United States. Thank you very much, Krystle, for joining us. Your initial thoughts on the AI summit here in India. More than 200,000 people in attendance, and it's a huge gala gathering. The scale is massive. But do you think that this will create the right kind of background noise or narrative on the future of AI?
Absolutely, yes. I can speak about the US-India AI partnership. I think as we're entering 2026 with the ISET framework, with over 16 billion being invested by US firms into India, we're seeing a lot of partnership on defense, on strategic technology, on telecommunications across so many industries. You have partnerships to include Columbia University and IIT creating an AI center. So I think that there's a lot of great know-how, intelligence skills coming out from India that is being leveraged by the US and vice versa. It's mutually beneficial. And I think that I view this as, India's big AI kickoff. And so this is an exciting time to be in Delhi, and we've got CEOs, heads of states from all over the world here.
Well, the right kind of tone and narrative being set here, but on the larger question of safety and regulations around AI, are we entering a dangerous zone because the scale is increasing? AI is being used increasingly in daily life by individuals, by companies, by governments. Who really draws the line out here? Do you think government regulations are enough or are true intruding?
Well, it's interesting. So earlier this year, I was supporting a client, the National Reconnaissance Office, right? They basically handle all of our space mission set. And I was in a lot of conversations with leadership there in regards to ethical AI. And I think the main thing that came out of it was that it's not about the tools. It's not about the AI tools. It's about the data itself. So the ethical regulation of the data is what is so critical when you're dealing with PII, when you're dealing with sensitive data, when you're dealing with classified data, right, from any country. How is that being managed, right? How is that? What is the output from that? And I think that's what people are more scared about. I think the tools can be used across any industry, but that's what government agencies are concerned with. And so when you approach an agency, whether it be at the US or be it in India, you have to come in a very careful manner to say, this is how we're going to be analyzing, assessing the data and how we're going to be handling it, because that's what they're most concerned about. And that's why I think there's a little bit of a traditional barrier full entry of AI into a lot of these agencies, especially in the defense and intelligence space.
Right. You speak about the defense and intelligence space, and I want to ask you on the national security and defense perspective. One of the concerns has been disinformation, and that's a biggest, concern globally. Apart from disinformation in the battlefield, AI has been used continuously, be it the Russia-Ukraine war over the last 4 years or India's Operation Sindoor against Pakistan. So how much of AI do you think will be used in defense in future? And how does one counter disinformation, which is prevalent all across social media?
Sure. So, when I was a former director at the Defense Threat Reduction Agency, I was a GS-15, which is considered it's the highest civilian rank. So I actually did manage a disinformation campaign. Obviously, this was 2017, 2018, right? So we didn't have AI at that time. I think that AI comes in slivers and components where it can help support. There's always a human on the loop. There has to be. You're dealing with very sensitive types of campaigns when you're dealing with the intelligence or defense community. That said, I'm a strong believer that AI can help. As a former intelligence officer, right? I led the Iraq political military affairs cell on the ISIS crisis team down at US Central Command. At that time, we didn't have AI, right? We were analyzing nearly 4,000 reports a day by hand. So I do think AI can be an enhancing tool, but I think it's really important to have a human there to be able to vet, assess, especially when you're making critical decisions and determinations on what the actual result or outcome is going to be, or the advice to a senior leader.
It's not just the US and the European Union, it's China as well, which is making big strides in AI. How concerning is that? Because, many believe that China does not believe in the rules-based order globally, not in democracy, doesn't believe in any kind of principles of law. How does one monitor that, and should we be concerned?
I think we should definitely be concerned. It's very difficult. I mean, I think as a democracy, all you can do is uphold your own values, principles, ethical standards, right? It's hard when you're dealing with an authoritative regime. So while we can't control China, we can try to put safeguards up. We can try to mitigate what could be coming out, what could be a threat to the United States, its assets, to India. So yes, I think that, all countries should follow the same standards, but as we've seen, they often don't. But I think what all you can do is from your own apparatus to say, what do you have in place to mitigate risk? And you have to also keep in mind, while AI is burgeoning and it's evolving and it's obviously a very hot buzz topic right now, you're still dealing with very traditional cultures within agencies, right? Especially, again, coming from the defense intelligence community. Commanders don't want to relinquish control. Agency directors don't want to relinquish control. So you have to realize that AI competes with traditional mindset cultures. And I think you have to approach government in that way to understand how they've been operating, how they work, what the bureaucracy is like. And there is a bit of a disconnect that happens between a lot of the new tech that's coming out and how that fits in with this really traditional closed environment.
Well, finally, Krystle, I want to understand from you, what kind of memories or message are you taking back with you from the AI Summit in India? And what would be your expectation or suggestions when it comes to India-US cooperation on the AI and tech world?
I think there's great opportunity for partnership, right? Again, I think that, I've seen just such amazing knowledge, skills, talent from the IIT community, for example. So I think that India is really in the position well to help the US and the world, honestly, with a lot of this new emerging tech to counter China, to counter Russia, to counter Iran. We're dealing with, the chip war, right? The US is in with China. We're dealing with a relevance of speed, right? 5G to 6G telecommunications. So in whatever mission set you apply, AI is going to really be a deal breaker. And I think that this can really bring US and India much closer together. And I think it's already happening because you see a lot of the industry partnerships. And even I think the governments are talking about how to work together and collaborate because they're also fighting common enemies, particularly China. So I think that this is a really good opportunity just for more collaboration and for bringing these two nations together, which are obviously natural allies, the oldest and the largest democracies in the world.
Right, Krystle, thank you very much for joining NDTV.
Thank you so much.